Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be having a best of 3 against a subscriber who messaged me on PlayStation, and his name is tyronerb. He's a Div 20 player, submission specialist, and his record as it stands is 87 wins out of 141 games, and I can definitely see why he's a Division 20 and why this style will cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. Now, I don't know what I'm going to title this video, but he's definitely a submission specialist. I think that's what I'm going to go for. And I'm going to be showcasing to you guys how to beat submission specialists. And it's not going to be one of those things where you get a lucky knockout and you beat the guy that's been trying to submit you for the past 3 rounds. And one thing to note is both fights are 3 rounds. If they were 5 rounds, I think the video could have been slightly different. And if you guys do enjoy this video, I will come up against him again and show you what a 5-round fight would look like against an opponent who is constantly trying to submit you. And you'll see why this fight is difficult per se, because of the volume of submissions and the submission choices, submission types. He's using the stronger submissions like the rear naked choke, and you'll see all of it as we go on throughout the fight. And it's perfect because he picks Charles Oliveira. Now, if you want to implement this style of fighting where you want to look for submissions consistently and you don't mind whether you're on top or you're on bottom, in the lightweight, there is no better person to pick than Charles Oliveira, because if you can't get the takedown, he's good on the feet. But not only that, you can drag your opponent to the fence and work a takedown from there. And in the clinch, you can be extremely dangerous as well, because he's got clinch submissions, you know, the little trips and stuff like that. And let's say he's on top and then I get the reversal and I end up on top of him, he's fine because he's off his back and that's exactly where he wants to be. He just can't let me get up. So, very good pick from my opponent here. And like I said, this style will be very difficult to come up against. And I would highly recommend, if you're coming up against someone that's going to be looking for submissions consistently throughout the whole entire fight, and it is pretty hard to stay perfect for 15 minutes, especially against a good opponent. And you will see that I do not stay perfect throughout these 15 minutes. So I definitely would recommend, if you're trying to counter this style, either use Islam, Dariush, who's good on the ground as well, but my preferred pick is definitely Dustin Poirier, because he's very good off his back. I'm very comfortable with Dustin off his back, and then if I end up on top, I'm also very comfortable because Dustin's jiu-jitsu is very good, which Islam Makhachev won't like hearing that. But yeah, his jiu-jitsu is very good. He's a black belt, so I'm more than comfortable. You can see that I'm even working to get the takedowns myself, got his back and dragged him all the way down. And to be honest, Islam just feels a little bit broken on this game. You'll see at the start I was contemplating whether to pick Dustin or whether to pick Islam, and then I did opt for going for Dustin instead. And that's purely just because although Dustin is, I would say, on the more broken side, he is very overpowered, he's just not as overpowered as Islam, so I thought I'd pick him instead. And you can see that Charles here is doing the right things. He's trying to get me to rubber guard and I'm getting out. Now he gets the reversal and he ends up on top, and this is where it starts to, you know, fall into my opponent's game plan, because whenever I get a reversal, I'm going to end up in his full guard, or even if I end up in his half guard, it doesn't matter, because as long as the fight stays on the ground, he's always going to be with a chance. And you can see here, great reversals here. So this is back-to-back reversals, and then he gets reversed here. So the grappling transitions here, very, very good. You'll see that it's two. You know, I'm a fairly confident grappler, he's a very confident grappler, so it's going to make for exciting scrambles and exchanges. And the one thing you need to be when coming up against this playstyle is you need to be extremely, extremely patient, because at any given point, if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. If a submission attempt gets locked in, you've really just got to breathe, be calm, and work through it. And whenever you're in top position or a position where you can do damage, look to implement it. And if you don't want to stay on the ground, that's more than fine, because in a position like here, I can just opt to get up now if I really wanted to. But you'll see that I'm confident enough to keep this fight on the ground, and I'm going to look to advance positions. We're going to look to do some damage, because ultimately damage wins fights. So no matter how long you're on the ground for, if you're throwing significant strikes where you can and your opponent isn't, you're going to end up winning the fight on the scorecards. It's just a matter of fact. And when the fighter gets onto the feet, make sure you do enough damage to the point where you're getting that significant strikes in, you're weakening your opponent's head health or body health, whatever you want to prioritize, leg health, and just make sure those strikes are significant, so the judges will end up giving you that round. And that's exactly what I look to do here. So you can see when I'm on the ground, I am posturing up, and although I am advancing position, as we go up here, I'm looking to throw strikes as well. Now that we're on the feet, bang, ripping combinations. You see that I was in orthodox, switched to southpaw, because obviously that's where I want to fight with Dustin. Good teep to the body there. Good leg kick, and just being overall unpredictable, trying to be really unpredictable, free flowing. You can see a good array of combinations, and on the feet I feel fairly comfortable, obviously. With these guys that want to submit you, what will happen is over the course of the fight, if the fight is prolonged and it stays on the feet, they're going to start looking for clinch attempts, they're going to start looking for the takedowns, but what you'll start to notice is that they'll get desperate, so the takedowns will be out of range. So often you don't even need to deny the takedowns, because you're just out of range where it's not even going to reach you, but the clinch attempts will start flying in, and you'll see exactly how that happens, because with the clinch you can rotate it and turn them towards the fence, which is exactly what I do. This is literally the exact same thing I do to players online when I'm looking for a takedown. You can see he does it to me here, takes my back, and this is the one area you can't let Charles get. So takes my back, I end up just dropping straight away, because no point letting him tire me out, and then obviously as a result of that he will then lock in the submission from there, and it will put me in an even more dangerous position. So the main things are, like I said, the main thing to beat this style of play is you just have to remain calm and keep composed no matter what situation you're in. Like here, I'm in a real bad situation, but if you look at some mitigating factors, I denied the chain there, and my stamina is in a good position. So if I stay calm, just keep moving slowly, try to throw him off, then there is no way I'm going to get submitted. You can see this is very tight here. It is extremely tight, and that's just because of how good Charles's submission stats are, and obviously because the choke this is a very strong choke. But you can see I get out of it, wide up into side control, and again, just stay calm, not eager to throw strikes. He gets me back into full guard, which is the exact right thing he should do, because he wants to keep the fight on the floor as long as possible. And you can see faking the arm bar there, which is the right thing to do as well. I posture up, do some damage, because he's definitely got the control time, and then I opt to get up because I was like, okay, let's get some damage in here, because that was a good submission attempt, and let's not let my back get taken again, because I know that if my back does get taken now, he is going to look for that rear naked choke, and everyone knows that choke is just so powerful. And you can see here the combinations are flying well, good teep kicks to the body, very good work on the leg there, and just combinations just flying here. And I'm in the wrong stance. This is not the stance I like to use. Obviously when I'm using Dustin you want to be southpaw, but it's working here. I'm attacking the body well with the roundhouses, he shoots for the takedown and he gets it, but you can't be discouraged by getting taken to the ground. And you can see here, this is one thing I love about Dustin, is that he has rubber guard. And now I know Charles can't stack from here the same way I can't as well, so I can rain down elbows and just pre-deny. If you get a good rubber guard, you're going to be an absolute huge problem. And I did not mean to give that up. You see, I go straight back into it. But if you get momentum on your side in rubber guard and you're throwing off these elbows, you can easily finish the fight. Like right here, he is trapped. Until I say otherwise, he is absolutely stuck, because I'm going to keep denying and I'm going to keep throwing these elbows, and you'll see that it's a real problem, and it's just going to rinse away his head health, and it's just demoralising. You can see here, look, his head health's in the corner, very low. We get the denial and an instant reversal with the sweep. Here I should not have gone for the go-go platter. I should have gone for the arm bar, which would have been much more comfortable, but go for the go-go platter. And again, you learn off of these things. It's the submission that I'm not going to go for again, because I'm not very confident in that submission anyway, so I'm not sure really why I went for it. He ends up getting out, but again, still in top position, and that was just a good spell of time. Definitely some good significant strikes in there, and the rubber guard's just a very dangerous position, so something to look forward to. And now, just because he is Charles Oliveira, he's going to have a lot of submissions, and there's other submission artists in this division, like Dariush, and they're going to have unorthodox submissions like the, let's say, a Das or the Twister here, and you've just got to be very calm and look to pre-deny those, because you'll see that when he gets me in side saddle, he goes for the arm triangle quite a lot, and you'll see that I pre-instinctively deny that, because you just have to think about, if you was in that position, what would you do? I would go for the arm triangle. So again, you keep that in mind and you look to get denies, because with these guys, denying is going to be a huge thing. So definitely being patient, number one. And then working on your shot selection, doing damage. Damage is going to be another very important thing. And pre-denying, I'd say, is extremely important as well. Distance management when you are on the feet. But specifically on the ground, is the pre-denials, and on the feet obviously you can't pre-deny, but you can pre-instinctively dodge certain things. So you can dodge the clinch, you can dodge the takedown attempts, and obviously that will come under distance management, and you've really got to know what they're trying to do. I mean, Charles Oliveira, I know exactly what he's going to do here. He's got the full guard sweep, and who isn't going to utilise that? Everyone's going to look to utilise that sweep because it's very, very good, and it will get him back to a more comfortable position than being in side control. Deny both these transitions here, and again, you need to have situational awareness. I know I'm near the fence. I know if he postures up that he's going to take me to the fence and look to take my back, and that transition's very quick, so it's exactly where I'm going to look to deny. I know he's going to shoot for takedown, so if I throw strikes up the middle, uppercuts, knees, teep kicks, front kicks, if they land, it's gonna do a lot of damage. You can see here, swayed there, get a stun, which is a very good way to start this round. And right now, I'd say I'm definitely 2 rounds up, so this round I've just got to be very cautious and not get submitted. As you can see, he gets me in the clinch, gets the takedown. I should really be spamming up kicks there, but I didn't want to spam it, and then he doesn't jump and then opts to get in slowly, because obviously he's just gonna pass guard that way fairly easily. So I let him get on top because, again, I'm not too worried about being in this position with Dustin. Dustin's very, very good off his back, although Charles is obviously very good on top. You've just got to be very, very calm. And here he denies the transition to back sitting. I stay calm, deny it to side control, and just start building up GA. Keep building GA. I've got the stamina advantage, and this is the other talking point. Stamina advantage is absolutely crucial when looking to grapple, because it will benefit you on so many levels. If you've got a stamina advantage, right, any exchange you get into, and depending obviously on who you're using, so it is contextual, but when you get into a situation where reversal is possible, if you have a stamina advantage, it's so much easier, and then you know that when you end up on top, your stamina is going to be in a fairly decent position to the point where, you know, you're not going to get sunbeaten. And you see here that you get the reversal, end up on top, advance the half guard, and although the stamina right now, if you look closely, it is fairly even, but there's times where, because I'm getting the denials in, I then have the stamina advantage, and it allows me to pass easier, allows me to get up if I want to get up, posture up and throw strikes, and then get him into sprawl. And here, it's just going to be a case of tiring him out. I'm just going to laser that body, and you can see that these strikes are a bit annoying. They're not going to do too much, and I opt to get up in the end because I was feeling really, really good on the feet, especially after round 2 where I had some good successful combinations. He lands good there as well, but that roundhouse to the body is definitely doing damage. He goes to the body again, and you can see that just being very careful. On the feet, not as worried. I know he's looking to get the fight to the ground because submission specialist, he's not really gonna want the fight to be on the feet. He's gonna look to take me down and then use array of submission. So shoots for a takedown here, and you'll notice he turned a different way. He turned to the left instead of to the right, which is what he's been doing with his other takedowns. But he has got 2 minutes really to finish the fight in order to win it, because I know if it goes to the judges' scorecards, I've definitely won. So whenever I'm in this position here, if you sprawl, there's a very, very low likelihood of him denying that transition. You can wait out here. Like I said, my body health's in good position. Health stat wise, I'm not too worried, and he's the one that needs to finish the fight right now, so he's the one that needs to move. So I get up here, and he does the right thing in this moment, I'd say, in pulling guard, because it brings the fight straight to the ground and exactly where he needs to be. He gets me into rubber guard, and again, you've just got to be patient. So he's got 1 minute and 45 seconds to win this fight, and this is exactly what's going to happen online with these guys. If you win the first round, if you win the second round, they're gonna, in the third round, they're gonna go pretty heavy with the submission attempts and doing anything they can to get that submission victory, because, like I said, it's the playstyle that they adopt, it's the playstyle they approach. You can see, you get the denial there for the arm triangle, and it's very important that you try deny as much as possible and just keep an eye on the clock, because that will let you know if you're in real danger of a submission attempt, because it's approaching 1 minute here, and if he doesn't lock in a submission before 1 minute, I'm not overly worried, I'm going to be honest with you. I tried to get the backside, then he goes to side control, and here I'm thinking, oh, Kimura, because that's exactly what I do, and that's exactly what he locks in. And I thought it would be quite funny, because that's the submission I use a lot, so if he got me with my own submission, that would really be a killer thing. And he did tell me that he learned about this submission like through me, about how like good it is to use. But yeah, stamina was in a good position. We end up getting out, and you can see here just going to rubber guard. And right now there's no way he's going to get the submission finish. He knows that as well. So he's just trying to do some extra damage, some more significant strikes, just to look better on the scorecards. And you never know how the judges are seeing this. I mean, the judges do have some wild scoring sometimes. So I land some good significant strikes and decide to get up on the feet. And again, just gonna rain down some pressure for the last 22 seconds. I'm not really too worried about what can happen unless I get caught with something absolutely out of the blue, like a front kick that knocks me out. I should be in a good position, because if you look over at my health stats, they're in very good shape. So I'm not too worried. Triple body shot there, which is crazy to do. Never do that online. And he shoots for a takedown and gets one in the last second. So judges' scorecards are coming up. You'll see that I did end up winning the fight. I think I got all 3 rounds, if I remember correctly. And the next fight is in the welterweight division against Gilbert Durino Burns, who is phenomenal, by the way. I absolutely love using him. Versus Shavkat, and Shavkat is my new main fighter. I really like using him to grapple. And you can tell when someone's a submission specialist just by the picks he's using. I mean, he's gone for Gilbert Burns here, who's the best submission artist in the welterweight division, and he's just so good. And then of course in lightweight he went for Charles Oliveira. So this guy is really what he's saying. He's a submission artist. That's exactly what he's looking to do. He specialises in this, and you can tell by his picks. But with Shavkat, I'm not worried about the fight going to the ground, and I'm not worried about the fight being on the feet, because he's got that taekwondo background. And to be honest, in welterweight, there's a lot of good counters to Gilbert Burns or someone that's looking to submit you, just because of the choice of wrestlers you do have. The only thing I'd say is make sure you've got someone that's comfortable off their back in case you end up being on your back. And with Shavkat, I'm 100% comfortable with wherever the fight looks to go. And you can see here that getting to top mount fairly early on, I'm going to look to maintain this position, which is something that I usually do struggle with. But you can see do a good job here raining down some strikes. I'm being selective with it. I don't want to overthrow and leave myself prone to a reversal. That sweep where he just gets up. So I'm being fairly patient with it. And again, I'm looking to do more of the same thing. So patience, like I said, and distance management, stamina, and pre-denying are all going to be your best friends throughout this fight. And I tried to double up on the straight punch there, but good job from him from swaying and getting back to the feet. And now when he's back to the feet, I know that he's going to be looking for the takedown, but I could also mix in a takedown. Like I said, I'm very comfortable in wrestling, especially with Shavkat. For the purpose of the video, I was trying to stand a little bit more, just to show you guys, because a lot of you guys, from what I can see in the comment sections, aren't the most confident grapplers, so you're not going to really want to be getting in these exchanges. But you can see I get into the sprawl position here, deny it twice, again being very patient. Rather than going up, which is what I expected, I get straight into side control. And here I know that if he goes to the right, he can get the sweep where he jumps on top of me, so I just go into top mount and he goes this way, which is perfect. So now I'm covering that end of the fence, and you can see here posturing up. I'm posturing up a lot, and again, online you'll see me not do it too often, but the reason I'm posturing up is just because I want to get those significant strikes in, because more often or not, when you're coming up against these submission specialists, because the fight's going to be on the ground for so long, unless you submit them or they submit you, the likelihood is the fight will probably go to decision. And this is me saying in the sense that the fight is predominantly on the ground, because if it's on the feet, there's a higher chance that you could get the finish and you could knock them out. But because this fight is spending a lot of the time on the ground, I know that it might go to the judges' scorecards, like realistically. So I'm going to get in those significant strikes. I get him into crucifix here, getting in some good denies. And right now, this is just a very, very solid start to the round. And this is what happens when two grapplers collide. They'll start having these exchanges on the ground. And it's very important early on to get the better of these exchanges, because over time, over the duration of the fight, it will start making your opponent second guess things, because he wants to get on the fight to the ground and he wants to submit you. And it might not be the case with my opponent here, because he is a submission specialist, but in general, if you're coming up against someone that just constantly wants to spam submissions, if you start getting the better of them on the ground and they're actually not that confident, they're going to stop going to the ground. They're not going to want to go to the ground with you, because if their whole game plan was, yeah, let me get him down, and let me submit him. But every time they go to the ground, you're reversing them. It's getting significant strikes in, cancelling the submission attempts. They're not going to do it. It's only the top percentage of these types of players, these submission specialists, that are going to keep on going and trying. And you'll see that's exactly what happens here with my opponent. It doesn't matter how good I'm doing on the ground, he will not change from his game plan. And that's something that's very good because it's what he's comfortable with. He's not changing just because he knows that I'm good at grappling. He's going to keep going for these same things and keep looking to finish the fight in his way. And again, it's something I've always said in my videos, is that if you need to alter your game plan, alter it. But if you're so confident in one aspect, then go for it. It's like Paul Craig in real life. He's so confident with that triangle that it doesn't matter where he is, he's just always going to look for it, and it works for him. Let's say the vast majority of the time, but obviously there will be times it's not going to work for him, and that's it at the end of the day. That's exactly what is going to happen. But you'll notice with submission specialists, if you watch anyone that consistently looks to grapple and go for submissions, that online they do have a field day with majority of the players, because a lot of people on the game just don't know how to grapple. And when you mix into that these very dangerous submissions, the more quote-unquote broken submissions, like the rear naked choke, the clinch submissions, the, I don't know if it's called wind scarf choke, the one from the north-south position, that's very, very strong. There's certain submissions that everyone knows are very strong. The Kimura from side control, which I like to use a lot. These chokes are so powerful that they can change the fight at a blink of an eye. So these submission specialists, they're always going to go for them. It's important to know how to deny these as well, and that's one thing I will say. And if you guys don't know how to deny these, just feel free to ask me in the comments and I'll tell you what way to go, or just watch the video, because you'll see throughout the video that I do deny a lot of submission attempts. And you can see, look, distance management there. I was at a distance where obviously he couldn't reach the takedown, so I didn't even have to try deny it. Good knee to the body, and you'll see that I'm controlling the range. Look, backing off when he does land, being cautious. That's a very, very good little right hook there where he lunges in, because Gilbert Burns does that in real life, so that can catch people off guard. He shoots for the takedown, turns to the left, get the deny, knee to the body. You can see that hurt. His body health's not in a great position right now, and he didn't go for the takedown there because he knew I was going to pre-deny it and instead land the right hook. So doing very good body work here, predicting where the punches are going to be. And right now I'm forcing these exchanges he doesn't want to be in. He doesn't want to be on the feet. He needs this fight on the ground. So the longer I can keep it on here, the more success I'm going to have. And you can see, drops me here and ends up getting on top of me, which is a little bit annoying. But again, stayed patient. I knew I had the stamina advantage. The get up came, and then that's it. We got up, ripped to the body twice. You can see he went for the clinch attempt there because I was towards the fence. So if he clinched, he could walk me over there, and then he can look to get the finish from there on out. So again, being very patient on the feet, trying to mix up my strikes. You see I go to the body there, he gets me in the clinch. He's going to try to walk me to the fence. No, he changes to the standing guillotine. So here you've just got to be very, very calm, because this is another submission that's very strong. It was definitely stronger at the start of the game, but nevertheless it's still strong now. So you've just got to be patient. This still catches a lot of people out. Was patient with it, ended up getting out, and I know he's probably going to look to clinch again, which he does. So reverses me, like the changes into the tie clinch, gets me here and drags me down. I was pretty sure at the time I definitely denied this, but you know, he ended up getting me down. That's fair enough. But I've just noticed that this is the real-time clock, so no wonder it felt so long when I was fighting. So basically this was probably the actual length of a 5-round fight, but it was only 3 rounds. I knew there was something at the time. I was like, wow, these rounds are lasting a real long time. So yeah, and that makes sense now. And you can see every time I go to take his back, he rotates, end up in back sitting, get the deny there. I'm just being patient. Like, I'm not being overly aggressive for the finish. I'm more focused on position over submission, because the last thing you want to do is overextend for a finish on the ground, get reversed and then get submitted yourself. And that's exactly what you don't want to happen. Look here, I was overly eager. I wanted to get the strikes off. He reverses me. Luckily he didn't go for a submission attempt because my stamina was not in the best position there. get the deny here, and again he's against the fence, so I know I can get up here, and that's exactly what I look to do. But position over submission is very, very, very important when facing a playstyle like this, because you're going to want to be in a position where you can control the variables, you can control what's going on, because you know they're going to want to look to submit you, right? So if you're not being smart or calculated with how you're doing things, if you're just being overzealous and committing to, let's just say, oh, let me just go into half guard for the sake of going into half guard, or let me do this, let me do that, and then you're focusing on trying to get a submission, or too eager on getting damage done and get reversed, you're going to be in real big trouble. So it is like a chess match. It's a real big thinking game. You've really got to put all your fight IQ to the test. He shoots for another takedown, good deny, 2 knees to the body, and we get the body health event. So very, very good there. Denied the takedown, ripped the body, and like I said, one of the things I said was very important: stamina management. And what am I doing? Targeting his body, because the more I zap away at that stamina, when the fight goes to the ground, he's not going to have as much stamina to use to pass positions, and when he gets denied, he's going to have even less stamina, which means I can go for submissions myself, I can go for sweeps, I can go for the get up, and it's just going to allow him less room to build up GA, because he can't throw as many punches. And you can see, look, these takedown attempts, they're getting slower and slower, and that's just because Gilbert Burns is starting to gas a little bit. Good push kick there, and a great judo throw, which again slams him down. That's short-term stamina gone. And I know there wasn't long left on the clock, but it was just good to get that takedown. That's one that Shoutout uses a lot. It's one that I really like in real life as well. That judo throw, or the wizard kick, I don't know what they call it, but yeah, very, very, very effective throw, and he uses it very well in real life, so I always try and incorporate that as well. Again, against the fence, takes my back, I've got the stamina advantage, so I'm not overly worried. But again, this is not a good position, and bang, look, he instantly locks in the submission. And here, I'm going to be honest with you, I was worried, just because Gilbert Burns is such a threat when it comes to submissions, and obviously my opponent's submission specialist, right, he's done this to 87 different people online just this season, so God knows how many other times he's done it last season. You can see this is very, very close, but was patient, done enough, end up in a side control here. You can see he rotates out, tries to get up, get the deny, and all these little things are just taxing away. And again, it's the same situation as it was in last fight. He's got one round to win it, so I know he's going to do everything he can, and he done the right thing there, trying to, you know, reverse me and get me into side control, because this is what he's got to do to look to get the finish now. He's really got to try and make something happen. I try to rotate away. No, I can't get it, so I just choose to stand up. So he's now got 3 minutes and 50 seconds to try and get a finish, and this was good here. Those 50-50s are very hard to predict what someone's going to do, and he done a good job there in getting the judo throw. I think he went for the arm triangle, and that didn't work, and he went for the arm bar. Again, the arm bar from that position is super, super powerful, so very important to learn how to deny these transitions. I know he wants to go back sitting, so I deny the back sitting. I tried to go for the rolling knee bar, didn't work, and he ends up getting me a back sitting again. This time I don't decide to sit there for too long, because I know he's going to look for that rear naked choke. Obviously, Burns has the arm bar as well. Gets my back here, tries to flatten me out, doesn't work. And then he goes for the submission here again. Another very strong submission. You'll notice that that is the theme of this video. This isn't someone that just is a submission specialist in one submission. Like me, for instance. I'm very good with the Kimura from side control. It's probably my better submission. But with other submissions, I'm not as good. My opponent here is good with any submission, and especially the strong ones, and you'll see that I found myself a lot of times throughout this video getting caught in some of the stronger submissions in the game, but because I'm just being patient, I've got a fairly decent submission defense, I end up getting out of them, getting into better positions, and you'll see how I work my way from those positions into more advantageous ones. So he gets me back into his full guard here, and what's he going to look for? He's probably going to look for the rubber guard, and whenever you want to deny the rubber guard, you just deny the side where your opponent's hand is on your head, which is the right in this instance here, so I don't need to deny right. And again, that's exactly what he's going to look for, because from there he can get the sweep to side control. I don't know if he has the full mount one, I think he might, and he can also get a submission from there as well. So it's definitely the right thing he should be going for, and pre-instinctively I'm going to be denying that, but that can cause some danger, because as the fight progresses in this round, if he doesn't pre-instinctively hit that, and he goes for like a triangle, let's say, or an armbar, I could be in real trouble, because obviously Burns got phenomenal submissions and I was already pre-denying a completely different way. And you can see there, he goes for the clinch submission again. Good job in denying it. I am against the fence here, which is why I duck, avoid the clinch, get a clinch of my own, and a good little teep kick there just to push him away. That was a very well timed sway there. Get the stun again. So in terms of damage done a good job this round, and in all likelihood it looks like the fight is going to finish with me winning again by a decision, but you can never be too careful. He gets the fight onto the ground again. He doesn't have too long to work with here, so I wasn't really worried about a submission threat. However, it's still very, very, very possible. So he goes to pass, I get the deny here, again just throwing a little elbow. I went to full guard. I did not mean to go full guard, I meant to go hit the sweep to get into half guard, which doesn't matter because I end up getting there anyway. Deny, that was either to get my back or to get the twister, because Gilbert Burns has it, but deny it anyway. Posture up here, you can see just being patient, get to side control, and because this is a real-time clock, that's why the fights have felt so long. So it's actually giving him a slight advantage, because it's giving him more time to get off the submissions, and he goes for a triangle here, which he locks in very, very tight. And this is what I was talking about, is that because I was so used to him getting rubber guard, that when the fight you're fighting mixes it up like this, and it really can catch you by surprise. So this is why you've got to stay focused throughout the whole thing, stay real composed, and really think about all the options they have. So there's not much time left, and we do get the slam anyway, but very good attempt from my opponent. So I just want to shout out to him. Like I said, if you guys did enjoy the video and want to see a 5-round fight of me and him going out at it, I'll definitely do that. Anyone else has got any particular specialty and wants to find me in a best of 3, let me know on PlayStation. I will upload it. Shout out to you guys for all the support on the channel. I really, really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more UFC 4 content, and I'll see you next time. Peace.